What happens when one of the largest air operations in recent Middle East history unfolds over a major capital? Reports indicate that Israel launched a massive wave of coordinated airstrikes across Iran, deploying around 200 fighter jets against hundreds of military targets. Explosions were reported near Tehran as footage circulating online shows smoke rising from multiple locations. Analysts say the scale and precision of these strikes signal a major escalation in the conflict. In this video, we break down what happened, what targets were reportedly hit, and why the strategic implications could reshape the region. The scale of this operation is what immediately captured global attention. According to statements released by Israeli military officials, around 200 fighter jets were deployed in a coordinated air campaign targeting approximately 500 military sites across western and central Iran. Analysts describe the mission as one of the largest combat sorties ever conducted by the Israeli Air Force. The strikes reportedly focused on strategic infrastructure, including air defense systems and missile-related facilities, aiming to weaken Iran's ability to respond quickly. What makes this operation especially notable is the level of coordination involved. Military experts explain that synchronizing hundreds of aircraft to strike multiple targets within a short window requires extensive intelligence preparation and logistical planning. The timing also drew attention. Reports indicate the strikes began around 9:45 a.m. Tehran time on February 28th, during regular daytime activity. By launching a large-scale operation at that hour, the attackers introduced an element of surprise that quickly turned this moment into one of the most closely watched military developments in the region. What truly underscores the intensity of the opening phase is the volume of munitions reportedly used within the first day. According to Israeli military statements cited in multiple reports, the initial wave of strikes involved more than 1,200 munitions deployed within the first 24 hours of the campaign. Analysts say that level of sustained activity reflects an operation designed to overwhelm defensive systems and strike multiple targets in rapid succession. Over the following days, the scale continued to expand. By March 4th, 2026, Israeli officials indicated that the total number of weapons used in operations against targets in Iran had reached around 5,000 munitions. Such numbers highlight the operational tempo of the campaign and suggest a strategy focused on maintaining constant pressure on key military infrastructure. For military planners and observers, the figures themselves are significant. They illustrate not only the scale of the operation, but also the logistical capacity required to sustain high-intensity air operations over several consecutive days. The moment the focus shifted toward Tehran, the story drew even greater global attention. Witness accounts and international media reports indicated that several explosions were heard in parts of the Iranian capital as aircraft activity was detected overhead. According to reporters from Agence France-Presse, AFP, on the ground, fighter jets were heard flying over western areas of Tehran, followed by multiple blasts reported across the city. Images and short video clips circulating online showed smoke rising above several districts, damaged vehicles, and debris scattered across streets in some locations. While independent verification of every clip remains difficult during fast-moving conflicts, the visual evidence quickly became part of the global news cycle. Tehran is a city of more than 9 million residents, making any military activity near the capital especially significant. Analysts say that when strikes are reported near a country's political and administrative center, the implications go beyond tactical targets. It signals a shift in the strategic messaging of the broader conflict. What makes this campaign strategically significant is the type of facilities reportedly targeted. According to statements from Israeli military officials, the strikes focused on key components of Iran's military infrastructure, particularly systems linked to air defense and missile capabilities. These included air defense batteries, missile launch platforms, and command-related facilities believed to support Iran's regional military posture. In total, Israeli officials stated that around 500 military targets were engaged during the opening stages of the operation. Military analysts note that targeting defensive systems early in an air campaign is a common strategy designed to reduce the opponent's ability to detect and intercept incoming aircraft. Once those systems are weakened, follow-on operations can be conducted with fewer operational risks. Reports also suggested that some strikes were directed at facilities connected to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, RGC, an organization that plays a central role in Iran's military structure. If accurate, these strikes would indicate a focus not only on hardware, but also on the command networks that coordinate Iran's defense strategy. Perhaps the most strategically sensitive moment of the campaign came with reports of strikes targeting a major leadership complex in Tehran. According to Israeli military statements referenced in several reports, more than 100 fighter jets participated in an operation focused on a large compound believed to house key government and security institutions. During this strike, officials said over 250 precision munitions were deployed against buildings inside the complex. The site reportedly included offices connected to senior decision-making bodies, such as the Presidential Bureau and the Supreme National Security Council, institutions involved in coordinating national security policy. Military analysts note that targeting such locations is intended to disrupt command structures and slow strategic decision-making during a conflict. Because the complex spans several blocks in central Tehran and contains multiple secured facilities, it is considered one of the most protected areas in the country. For that reason, the scale of the reported strike immediately drew attention from observers and defense analysts worldwide. One of the most critical developments reported during the operation involves the condition of Iran's air defense network. Israeli military officials stated that their strikes had significantly reduced the effectiveness of Iran's defensive systems. According to the Israeli chief of staff, approximately 80% of Iran's air defense capabilities were degraded or disabled during the early phases of the campaign. If accurate, that level of disruption would have major operational consequences. Air defense systems are designed to detect incoming aircraft, track them with radar, and launch interceptors when necessary. When those systems are weakened, opposing aircraft can operate with far greater freedom in contested airspace. Military analysts say this helps explain how large formations of aircraft were reportedly able to conduct repeated missions over Iranian territory in the following days. The Israeli military described the result as a significant expansion of air superiority, allowing follow-up operations to focus more directly on strategic infrastructure while facing fewer defensive obstacles in the airspace above key regions. Beyond the military dimension, the unfolding events have also raised serious humanitarian concerns. Reports from international organizations indicate that the strikes have had significant effects on infrastructure and daily life in several areas. According to the Iranian Red Crescent, more than 1,300 people were reported killed nationwide within the first 6 days of the conflict, although exact figures remain difficult to independently verify during an active crisis. At the same time, the United Nations Refugee Agency, UNHCR, reported that approximately 100,000 residents left Tehran within the first 2 days following the start of the attacks, seeking safer areas outside the capital. Health authorities and international observers have also noted damage to several facilities, including healthcare sites and residential areas, though the full extent remains under assessment. For millions of civilians living in and around Tehran, a city of more than 9 million people, the situation has created uncertainty and disruption, highlighting how rapidly military escalation can impact everyday life in major urban centers. Another important dimension of the campaign involves reported strikes on Iran's internal security infrastructure. Several reports and video clips circulating online suggest that facilities linked to security and paramilitary forces were among the locations affected during the broader wave of air operations. These reportedly include sites connected to units such as the Basij paramilitary organization and other internal security commands, which play a role in maintaining domestic stability and law enforcement coordination. According to analysts, targeting security-related infrastructure can have broader implications beyond immediate military objectives. These institutions are often responsible for communication networks, logistics, and coordination between different branches of security forces. Disrupting those networks may complicate the government's ability to organize responses during a rapidly evolving crisis. At the same time, officials and observers emphasize that information in conflict zones can change quickly, and many reports require further verification. Even so, the focus on security infrastructure highlights how the operation appears aimed not only at military assets, but also at systems connected to internal command and control. The bigger question now is what these developments mean for the wider strategic balance in the region. When an operation involves around 200 fighter jets striking roughly 500 targets, supported by more than 1,200 munitions in the first 24 hours and thousands more in the following days, it signals a campaign designed to reshape the battlefield rather than a single limited strike. Military analysts say operations of this scale are typically intended to degrade multiple layers of capability at once, from defensive systems to command infrastructure. Another key factor is airspace control. Israeli officials stated that about 80% of Iran's air defense network had been degraded, a development that could allow follow-up missions to occur with fewer operational constraints. If that assessment proves accurate, it would represent a major shift in operational dynamics. For regional observers and policymakers, the central question is no longer just what happened in the initial strikes, but how the strategic balance may evolve in the days and weeks ahead. The scale of these reported strikes has raised serious questions about where this conflict is heading next. With hundreds of targets hit and regional tensions rising, the situation remains highly unpredictable. Will this lead to further escalation, or could diplomatic pressure slow the momentum? We want to hear your perspective. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more updates. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next report.